So we've discussed a lot the concept of advertising effectiveness, and we know in the industry there's a lot of discussion between efficiency and effectiveness. We've published papers on it, thought pieces on that. But more specifically, what role do you think media plays in creativity with respect to advertising?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question that I don't think has a finite answer. I think the world of media and advertising is still figuring that out. However, I personally went on a journey when writing this book. As I mentioned earlier, I started it in late 2019, or the idea of it, and in fact, in the book, we talk about the distraction or focus on media efficiency metrics, perhaps being at the detriment of the investment of producing the content, the advertising that goes down those media pipes, and that not being a good thing for advertising and brands, and maybe most importantly, audiences. And I think there's still a grain of truth in that, or a lot of truth in it. However, I don't think actually in today's world, now we're in 2022, that it's as absolutist as that it's one thing or the other. It can be media or it can be creative. And I say that not necessarily just because of what we see in Ipsos data, but actually when we look at some Effie winners in the last year to 2 years, so there have been some fantastic campaigns that have actually had creativity fueled by data. It hasn't just been an idea alone, or the idea has been important, of course, but it has been fueled by data availability and connecting people and data. And one example, and it's a campaign I just love, which was an Effie Award winner, was for E.ON. And they used air pollution, air quality data to help people understand with a big, it was a big sculpture in some part of London, that when the air quality dipped to a certain level, it was a sculpture of a pair of lungs, and those lungs would fill with smoke, and it was a very visceral experience for the people that came across it. And they did other activations as well. But the point of the message for them was that actually they're moving in a direction of greener energy, and that's important because the non-green forms of energy will contribute to that air pollution that people can then, as part of that campaign, viscerally see. And you wouldn't have had the same impact without that data stream. And so that example, and there are others. Whopper Detour, for example, using geolocation to ask people to visit the restaurant of their competitor to get a coupon. So it's the reverse of what you would think they would want to do. But again, yes, the idea was there. It was a creative idea from the agency, but it was enabled and fueled by data, and possibly they were inspired by data that was available. So across those examples and many others that are now emerging in the industry, I humbly submit as a researcher that it's not one or the other these days. We can still be distracted by media efficiency metrics at the expense of effectiveness, for sure. But let's maybe reframe things as those advertisers and agencies did for E.ON, for Burger King. Let's reframe it and think, well, how can media data, how can all of that data that you have available, how can that inspire creativity to get to more effective outcomes for audiences?